Hey, Mimsy's Garden.
Go ahead and turn it down, because every time you get on to me.
And we have seeds on the way for you. You did get those in the mail, right?
I did.
So they're on the way.
I did.
I
just turned it down. It does that every time. She always gets on to me for all the stuff we have to do right before live goes on.
No, I told him no. I was like, get your coffee before 8 o'clock.
How are y'all? Homesteading, Graving, Business of Life.
Hey there, Terry.
Organic Raw Roots Farm. How are you? Never enough time.
We are always last minute.
Just a Takers, how are you? Southern Blessed Homestead, what's going on?
We are good right now.
Hey, Regina, how are you?
Another set of storms. They're going to be rolling
North
through
Mississippi. So are y'all getting it yet? Southern Blessed Homestead.
There's another. Yeah, are you doing okay with the storms coming through? Yes, what I was just going to say. The first ones that rolled through totally missed us. There's another line coming through around midnight tonight, which to us is the worst time because that's when we go to sleep. So I'm a pretty light sleeper for the most part.
Hey, Leatherwood Lamb.
Well, I say that. The past year, I don't think I've been a very light sleeper. But anyway, yeah, they're going to be rolling through when we're asleep tonight. And we always hate that because we like to be able to watch the trees and stuff like that just to kind of monitor the
hey, darling.
The wind.
Hey, Stacy.
Because tornadoes just pop up like that around here. And if y'all have not heard about the deaths and the major damage that we had to the counties around us, both Sundays, there's been major tornadoes, and they have went above our county and under our county both times. So we were very blessed and thankful. We've not had any damage, just a lot of flooding, a lot of rain, and some wind gusts, but nothing major. So we've been very blessed. Hey, bake a leg
and let's dig it. Thank you for watching some videos of ours. Yeah, it's been crazy. So we actually contemplated maybe having to cancel our live because we thought it was going to be bad.
Yeah, but
so far it's sailed off for right now anyway.
They pushed it back. It was supposed to be coming through like right now, but they pushed it back 2 hours. So we're just going to kind of monitor that.
Hey, Arkansas Woodcutter, how are you?
And I saw Having the Homestead on here. They are going to be coming to get 2 of our babies. So we are super excited about that. 3. Y'all know, 3. That's right, 3. We had 7 piglets the very end of March.
Hey, Luffy.
And we are going to keep 2. It's a pretty interesting story, our vet day. Yeah. But we'll get into that in a minute because we had a pretty interesting. That was not only was I'm not expecting him to do what he did. Anyway, so our 7 pigs, we're keeping 2, and we sold the other 5. Just because we already have the Yorkshire feeder pigs, and with all 7, we just cannot do that much. We don't even have enough freezer space to do. So anyway, but by Having the Homestead is going to be getting 3 of our babies. So we're excited about that.
Yeah, our pig plans have changed a little bit, which is a good thing. It's not a bad thing, but we'll be coming out with that soon, hopefully telling you a little bit more about that. But
yeah,
it's changed a little bit. We almost lost a pig too, which was crazy.
Well, the vet come out that morning, and he was going to, y'all seen our cattle corral, and y'all seen us build that, work on that, get that complete. And so right after we've gotten it finished, we had our vet come out, and we cut our 2 bull calves. And they're both going to be going to the freezer. So we went ahead and cut them. And I was not expecting that at all. That was pretty intense. And then Kristoff, the youngest one, bled a lot. And I kind of forced Colby to come on the vet back. I was like, he is pouring blood. He had blood running down his leg. he had puddles of blood all throughout the pasture. And I told Colby, I was like, he's going to bleed to death. So anyway, long story short, the vet was like, it's okay. He is going to bleed a lot, but he's not going to bleed to death. He's going to be fine. And he did well. You could tell that I would say it affected him a little bit. He just didn't
Well, I
act
would
quite.
imagine so.
He didn't act quite the same, but he's back to his chipper self
Yeah,
today,
he's
so
good.
he's fine. And then the boys. So we got out to the pen and moved the two
pigs.
girls over. Right. This is when we all went to the pig pen. We moved the two girls over because we had a little fence that separated Peppa and George just until the pigs could get a little bit bigger because he is so big. And we didn't want him accidentally laying on one anyway. So we moved the two females over.
That's right, Arkansas would
and cut 1, 2, 3, 4, and couldn't find 5. We had 5 boys and 2 girls. We couldn't find the 5th one. He left. I was so upset. I mean, I turned that barn upside down looking for that baby. We could not find him. He was nowhere to be found. 3 hours later,
Yeah.
Colby walks up the back of our wood line and spots this little bitty black pig running through the woods. So anyway, we rounded him back up and got him back in there with his mama.
He knew what was coming. He's the lucky guy. He didn't have to worry about it.
Well, I just kind of looked at it like this. We went to bed that night and I said, look, we're going to keep one that's cut, keep one that's not cut. We're just going to trust God's provision. Something may happen to George. He may die. Something may happen to him. We don't know, but we're just going to trust that he knows what was best for our farm. And we're going to have one instead of 2. And, so, but we're just very, very, very thankful that he come back because
Beg a leg and let's dig it. Thank you. She did a pretty good job on the hair. And
it could have been worse.
Always fun. So thank you. It could have been worse. Aiden's was worse. We cut Aiden's on off.
He got a military style haircut.
Oh goodness. Yes, the storms have been crazy here. I will say this though. I mean, we have a lot of gardens, and of course we're on a rotational grazing plan. So of course we don't want to see destruction. But rain is not bad for our area. We are in the subtropic area, so it tends to be something that we need rain, we need water, because there's going to be months that we won't get water. So, we don't like storms, don't like the destruction, but it sure will help our fields. Our fields are looking great, and our garden is booming. Our corn is magnificent. So.
Yeah. So fun little tale on the pigs, and anyway, yeah. Everything outside looks really, really good. We planted we have 3 really, really long rows that we put a cattle gates right up the middle, and we plant on both sides, alternate those plantings all the way down. And we planted that one first. And
she said she likes your earrings too. Mine or yours?
Oh, thank you. I was hoping that they would make me look a little bit more awake because I've been really tired this afternoon. Anyway, we planted those, and it got down to like the 40s.
It actually got down to about 38. And in our area, we live in a low area. So if y'all know, we're in like a frost pocket. So if y'all know what that is, it makes it where you don't have to be frost temperatures to get frost.
Yeah.
But we're low and in a very wet area, so that tends to have some freezing elements.
I think some of the dew might have gotten on the leaves, and then it got really, really cold.
Thank you, Bake-a-Leg.
And it nipped the leaves. We lost probably a handful?
3 or 4.
Yeah, a handful. We replanted all of that, but they are coming back to life. There's new growth, so I'm super, super glad of that.
So our gardens have.
But other than that, everything looks really good.
Yeah, and we have 176 tomato plants planted there. Then, and y'all know we are very progression area oriented. So Misty has a whole other set of probably
medium sized and then super small.
Probably 200. Because there's 72 cells in each tray.
Yeah.
We have another 200 tomatoes we'll plant in the hugelkultur bed or next to the hugelkultur bed or in another raised bed we just built. So we have we try to do a 3-time progression. One thing we're doing this year though is our 3rd one. Last year they grew great, but then that's when we had an attack of like the hornworms and stink bugs, and it was just really hot. So we're going to try to move our 3rd rotation up a little bit. So Misty's been on it. So our first one went in, of course. Our second will go in probably when the potatoes and onions get done. Our second will go when our lettuce comes done, and our third one with the potatoes. So a little bit quicker
The
than
lettuce
we did
still
last
looks
year.
really, really good.
Yeah.
Cabbage is pretty much played out.
Yeah.
I'm trying to let what's there
Go to seed.
go to seed.
Right.
Some of the spinach has already started going to seed. So, and some of the broccoli. So we've designated certain plants in a section that we're going to let go to seed, and then we've kind of planted around some of that. Lots and lots of peppers are planted. We built 2 new raised beds. I really needed that extra space because I had so many herb seed starts.
We have a lot of perennials that are and biennials that we need more room to plant.
Right. So super excited about that. The boxes that I had that y'all seen us plant in one. Y'all seen us plant in one. I also used several other of those to when you're talking you keep throwing my train of thought.
I'm sorry.
To when our baby chicks and turkeys and ducks and all that we've raised in. So I have combined all of that manure and wood chips, and I moved all that to the greenhouse. So as we built the raised beds and we bottom layered it with just kind of junk dirt and then a good topsoil compost mixed with that manure. So I'm super excited about that. We added how many soybean plants did we say we put there? 70 something? Or did we count?
Yeah, we counted. It was
I think it was right at 80. It was 70
right
something.
At 80 edamame plants.
So we planted one already, completely
a peanless plantation.
Completely full. And then I'm trying to debate if I want to go with more herbs there, or if I want to do all tomatoes there.
We've been trying to put some perennials in every raised bed to give them space, but also not take all the space of the raised beds. What's so funny is we built over 5,000 more square foot this year of gardening with the strawberry bed and also the other square
I
square
still
foot
don't
beds.
feel like there's enough room.
And we still think about running out. So I guess every time we plant more, we tend to add more seeds or whatever it may be.
Happy Earth Day.
So we actually like for instance our onions last year we planted 105. This year we've probably planted like 300 or 400 heads. So I think we're going up. So
what is even crazier? I was going to ask y'all this earlier. Every time I go in the greenhouse,
thank you, Arkansas woodcutter,
I find a baby tomato plant growing in something else. Who else does that? Don't get me wrong. I do have a fairly large greenhouse, and I'm very, very thankful for it. It's slap full. And I'm very, very thankful for that because what I don't have outside, I can keep in my greenhouse, and I'm very thankful for that. But every time I go in there, there's new tomato plants, and I don't have the heart to rip them out and throw them out. So
it's like a baby.
So I pull them up and replant them.
Hey, Larry, there's a few ways you can eat soybeans. Okay, so for us, our kids love them steamed as a what they call an edamame, which is basically an Asian version of a soybean. So what you're doing is you're basically taking it in pod, putting it over steam, very lightly cooking it like you would broccoli or asparagus.
Oh, yeah, they're amazing.
And you put a little salt on it, and they're high quality, great source of vegetables for you and good vitamins, minerals, and they're great tasting. And you're not just we're from the South, so we like beans and peas and all that, just, putting juice and bacon fat. But this is a very high quality bean that you can eat that's not induced in fat and water all the time. Like typical vegetables.
Little Feet Farm said, you must have tripped when planting tomatoes. So I look, and I don't know if it's just I don't know. I don't know if it's just a guy thing or what, but every time I walk in there, and I'm going through my stuff, just checking. I have a habit of going in, seeing what needs water, making sure I have no bug damage, stuff like that. Just trying to stay ahead. Because if I go in there like a week and there's been a bug, a not a beneficial bug in there, a bug that can cause you damage, it's too late. It's almost too late by that time. So I was trying to stay ahead of the ball game. And every time I go in there, there's a new tomato coming up, and I'm like, where did you come from?
Yeah, Larry, they're very good actually, and some people will tell you around here.
And I ask a question too.
If you grow your soybeans and want to cook them like you cook your green beans or your lima beans, most people, if you shell them and you cook them like normal, Most people tell you you will not grow any other bean because they actually taste really good.
Talking
We love
about
them.
like edamame.
Well, cooking it like a regular bean, cooking it in juice, you can do it that way. We tend to like the steamers because it's the healthier vegetable for us. And who doesn't like okra? Oh my gosh, some of y'all are like okra's nasty. No, we don't like it like boiled or stewed.
Well,
That's a little
I like
much
it
for us.
in like gumbo,
Yeah,
jambalaya, stuff like that, like soups.
But we like it
down
fried.
in
We like it
soups.
fried with the light batter of cornmeal.
That's healthy, isn't it?
Very healthy. So that's why we try to balance it out with broccoli, asparagus, and soybeans.
Y'all, we got our first asparagus harvest.
After like so many years of growing in our raised beds.
But y'all, I started those from seed, and y'all don't know how rewarding that is. Asparagus, you have to go back and find Anna's comment because it was about peppers. There it is. Y'all don't know how rewarding that is because asparagus take years. If for anybody who don't know very much about asparagus, started them from seed. I raised them for a year in my greenhouse. This is back when I had a really small greenhouse. I raised them for a year. Then the next March, I transplanted them into the ground. So they've been in the ground this March for a whole year. So that's 2 years. You can harvest for 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, and then for your second year, and that's it. So I've gotten one harvest. So if I go back out and get anything else, it'll be just a handful, and that's all I can get this year.
Chaotic creation.
Then next year, I will be able to get a full harvest. And then the thing about asparagus is they're like blueberries, they're like strawberries, they're like things like that just keep coming back. So once you plant them, you get them established. They're there. I have read up to 30. I have read up to 40 years, depending on how well you take care of your asparagus. And I've also learned how they go to seed. So I've been working on those things. I do have some. The thing about asparagus when they go to seed is they're not going to be like your annuals that go to seed. They make seed flowers, make seed pods, make your seed, and the plant dies. That's not how they work. They put off seeds in these little green berries. Those little green berries turn red, and then I don't know what to do with them from there, but I'm going to find out. But the seeds, when they go to seed or they make seeds, your plants are not going to die. They're going to keep giving you asparagus for many years to come.
Thank you, Big Leg. Minzy, I don't think it's too late. We actually planted a late harvest of peppers last year. It takes about 100 days to germinate, to mature. We teetered right at the edge of frost, and we did harvest some, but we lost some too. So I don't think you're late planting now. I would try to get them in a very high humidity level greenhouse or covering or whatever you're doing. Make sure they're going pretty hot.
And I will say I did try to get the seeds out of those, but because the seeds from those were not mature enough, they did not germinate.
Correct.
So I was bummed out about that. But I'm hoping that this year mine are already planted in the ground, and some are 3 or 4 inches tall.
Yeah, they're doing great.
Which I know, some people have started theirs and they're way better. But we planted ours, and
Hey, Gales Garden, how are you?
It took several weeks for them to germinate because I kept thinking none of them are going to germinate, but it just wasn't the right temperature. But they have germinated and they've grown and they look amazing. So I hope they do better this year than our latter ones. The thing
with peppers for us, we're a little bit different on peppers than most. We grow a lot of hotter, thinner peppers, a lot of cooking. We dry peppers more than anything. We really don't do anything with them other than we'll saute them if we're sauteing something that
our bell peppers. I love to cook with those.
But we don't grow a ton of bell peppers. We'll grow more hot peppers and make pepper flakes out of them. Because me and Aiden like them more than Misty. Misty's not a hot person, but she is hot, but not in the pepper sense. So we look at peppers a little bit different, but we'll try to grow a lot because we like to dry a lot, and we have some from the last 2 years. So
I haven't homesteading Gravel's business and life, but I did think about that last year. My problem with some of the things that I wanted to do last year is I had a baby still. Our baby's just 1.5. He'll be 2 the end of the summer. So it was really hard for me to do last year a lot of things that I wanted to do because he turned 1 in August last year. So it was just very hard for me to carry. Like I did the basics, the minimal, but anything above that, it was really hard for me to do.
Art of creation, you're correct. They'll sprout if you cover it up and keep the humidity level in and the heat there. It makes like a mini greenhouse in those plastic cups. You're right there. Bacon leg, yes, we use our dehydrator and dehydrate all our herbs and all our peppers. Other than a few peppers here and there, are fresh herbs. But pretty much we dry.
I would love an Excalibur, but they are so expensive.
But what did you dry this last week herb wise? I mean, you dry tons of herbs.
I found my first dehydrator is just one of the little circle ones with the holes in the bottom of the racks.
There's one right there.
That's the one that was the one that was given to us. So I found it at a garage sale for $1.
Good night, Chris and Tara.
And then the other one that I have, somebody gave to us. So I've been using those, and I dried parsley, basil, oregano, a lot of oregano. I have so many oregano plants. It's really ridiculous.
Fancy Farmer, you're correct on the fact of germination, and also they'll produce more in harvest.
Several herbs.
The thing is, though, we're South Mississippi, so our temperature, other than a few nights of coolness, you want your soil to start getting up to 60, 70, and 80 degrees. No matter what your temps are during the day, the soil needs to be that hot. Same way with sweet potatoes. That's why sweet potatoes grow so good in the South, is because they need warm soil always, and our soil does really well. The thing is, we try to balance out making sure our potatoes and our broccolis and our lettuces keep the cool soil. So that's why a lot of those are starting to play out for us. But then all of a sudden, our peppers and tomatoes are booming right now, and our corn's unbelievable. So
looks really good.
What's up, Freedom Homestead?
You can't grow enough oregano or basil. I agree there. Look, we actually have a plant that was in one of my raised beds that Colby redid. He built it up a little bit deeper so we could get a little bit better drainage there. And when he dug it up, it was huge. So I split it when we repotted all of them, and now they are just going nuts, the oregano.
Oh, yeah.
So now I have a bunch of pots, and they're exploding in those pots, which is not a bad problem to have.
Corn is popping, art of creation.
No. So not a bad thing to have at all.
Hey, Serenity Hill.
Basil, I have a huge
our basil is absolutely gorgeous.
Of basil. We are going to do companion planting with basil and marigolds this year. So I don't know how many of y'all saw my video. It's been several months ago, but I grew a marigold plant from some of the seeds I got out of my marigold flowers last summer. I planted them in the greenhouse through the winter, let them grow up, flower, and then die. And then I used all of those seeds and started a whole new batch of marigolds.
And they're booming.
So all of those, they're everywhere from like this tall to like this tall. So all of those will be companion planting within the garden. Mostly with the tomatoes, basil and marigolds will be in with the tomatoes mostly.
Freedom Homestead, we saw the chicken coop. It looks really good. It looks heavy, but it looks really nice. So our garden has been planted. The only thing we hadn't planted is a few other little things that we had in the greenhouse, like the succession planting. But other than that, we pretty much have everything planted, except for succession buffer crops.
Some of them are still in the makes, but they'll get there.
That's right. Plus, we gotta let some things play out of the raised beds.
Sage. I did harvest some sage. I started some sage from
our sage is doing real well.
Hall's Tools.
Yeah.
I think it was their seed, and it did amazing. I have every seed I planted germinated, and I think I ended up with like 6 or 7 pots, and they are all like this tall now. And then I already had some from last year, and they're probably double that. So sage was another one that I put in the dehydrator.
It's funny, Little Mountain Life, that you're starting your brassicas this weekend. Like our brassicas are playing out, so it shows the different temperatures make a huge difference. Like we have 2 of our heirloom lettuces. And our cabbage and all that, those brassicas are basically going to seed. And then we have some new broccoli that's actually heat tolerant broccoli that is we're trying to watch it not bolt. So and it's from Hall's Tools as well. So it's funny how you're starting brassicas and we're ending our brassica season and kind of getting into straight summer season.
Bake a leg and let's dig it. Talked about planting zinnias for the first time this year. We planted zinnias for the first time this year too, mostly for our bees, but they are so pretty. So y'all know that we have the words totally left me. Pallet garden beds that are wrapped with some wood on the outside. And in between those spaces in the pallets, I planted some sage, some parsley, some peppers, zinnias. On the back side of
See,
them,
Arkansas woodcutter.
I planted some sunflower seeds. That they're the sunflowers. They're the mammoth, so they're gonna grow really, really tall and get really, really big. So they're on the back of those 3 beds. I'm gonna have it's like layered. So I have a really, really tall, and then I have stuff on the outside that is like a medium, and then stuff in the middle that's like a medium. So I think within a few months, the layering is gonna be really cool. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, Baker Lake, we're actually, our sage is hopefully going in our pig sausage this year. So
Yes,
we're
I
starting
saw
to try
you
it.
post that, Tangy, and happy birthday, by the way.
Yeah, happy birthday. Yeah, it's funny that they're planting brassicas. That's crazy. Yeah, so we actually, like right now, this every morning it's a little nippy, but our little nippy is like 55.
Yeah.
You know, it's nothing like y'all. So we're not having any, we don't have any freezing temperatures now. If we had a freezing temp now, it would be very unique to our area. Actually, it got really cold the day after Easter.
That's
And
when
that
my
was so
tomatoes.
surprising.
That's when the tomatoes got nipped.
Right.
But other than that, I mean, Anna from Mimsy's Garden will be able to vouch for us that, I mean, like today, what was it, like 85
Yeah.
here?
And
So,
our
I mean,
humidity's
it's
crazy
really,
too.
really, really warm here. Thank you,
Thank you,
Tangy.
Freedom.
I love, like, if I could stay anywhere outside all day, I want to be in my greenhouse all day.
We've gotten to where now, like, when we go out and we'll feed animals and do our normal thing, I love sunsets, and so we'll go up to the where the sheep are. It's just absolutely beautiful. So we have sunset right over the sheep, and then I'll come back walk through, and where we have the raised beds and the gardens, it just makes you smile when you go by it. So everything's so green and pretty.
And
you can't beat
actually, I posted this on our
Zone 8B Serenity.
I posted this on our homestead page, but just in case some of y'all missed it, there is an app talking about the sheep. We were out there and we were moving them the other day, but I saw this really cool, pretty purple flower, and I thought, I want to know what that is. Well, we have an app called Picture This, and it's a free app. I mean, you can buy the
whole premium subscription, but
yeah,
that's
you
kind of
can
stupid.
buy like a more super duper subscription or whatever. But we just use the basic thing. Like you scan the picture, it tells you what it is, tells you a little bit about it, and if it's poisonous or not. And it was called Common Self Heal. And there were so many awesome things about that flower. I thought that was so cool. I told the girls I want to dig some up and like bring them into the yard where they're not so far away. But if y'all don't know about that app, it's called Picture This. It's a plant
We love
identifier. It, like I said, get the free version. It'll pop up and ask you to like buy such and such. Just hit the X and get the free version. That's all you need. So if you're not familiar with that, I really think that you'll find that beneficial to use. And I'm not sure if let's see, I don't know if they're on here. I hadn't seen them.
Art creation.
Yeah, I
they're
haven't
on
seen
here.
them
They're on here.
recently. But anyway, we also wanted, we were in a called out in a challenge of the 5 top vegetables that we think are most beneficial for like a homestead or for somebody who's wanting to. Okay, there you are. I just hadn't seen y'all recently. That you find most beneficial for your homestead. So Colby and I kind of discussed those earlier, and he's gonna kind of talk about what we think.
Yeah. So for us, we would say the one of the biggest for us would be potatoes. We love potatoes. Potatoes is something that we try to grow a lot of every year, and we every year we add more hills, add more hills, add more hills, and every year we try to grow more potatoes because with our family, it's a potato. And a lot of things we're going to talk about is how versatile that vegetable is. So for us, potatoes are not the healthiest vegetable, but we can utilize it in so many different ways for our children because again we have 5 kids. A lot of times we're running. Sometimes we can put a baked potato on, or we can cut them up, make fries, whatever it may be. So for us, the potato is a big deal. This area they grow really well. You can actually grow them twice. We're actually going to try a better biannual harvest of fall potatoes. Last year we got a few, but we let them go a little too long and could not get them out of the ground before freezing. So we're going to try to plant them a little bit quicker. But potatoes, I'd say, is number 1 for us. Not the healthiest, definitely the most starchiest of the vegetables. Number 2 would be corn. Now, I'm gonna preface this way: if you're doing a small garden or square foot garden, corn's probably not the best for you, but for us, corn is a huge garden staple. If we can grow a good set of corn, our goal is to grow over 150 ears this year. That's not a lot, but for our family, that's plenty. That's what we need because we split them in half, so now we have 300 ears. That would help us get through a whole year. Last year, we did only 50. The year before was 100, and we had to supplement about 100 last year, and that's not what we want to do anymore. We grow heirloom version, so it doesn't grow as good. So we've been really babying it this year. And you have to grow it a certain way, but that's another huge vegetable for us.
But also how it can be used in so many
Oh my
different
gosh, yeah. So
ways.
for us, corn, we use corn, of course, because you can cream it, you can leave it on the ear, you can of course cut it off and just make regular kernel corn. You can of course mill it if you need to, if you're using a field corn, and we can also use it for the animals too. So there's so many variations of the corn that can be used. Same way with our third, and Misty would chime in on this, would be tomatoes. Tomatoes for us, we eat so many meals that is a tomato based meal. And if you have kids, it's easy to make chili, easy to make spaghetti, easy to make so many other things, tacos, whatever it may be. Everything is pretty much tomato based for us. So we still have frozen tomatoes from last year that we use. We have salsa still frozen. So there's so many benefits to the tomatoes for us. What would you say?
Yep. I need to learn more canning tomato things.
Yeah, I know we need to do that. We
just
don't.
because I don't want to put all my eggs in one basket. If y'all have ever heard that expression, but the more I think about pressure canning and stuff like that, timing has not been well for us. So, like last summer, I would have loved to played with that a little bit more. But again, when you have a baby, you just can't. And like even this year, the end of this year, Jennings will be 2, and he's still very demanding of my time. So it's hard for me to get in the kitchen and put so much focus and time and energy into watching every little thing. Like I feel like needs to be done until I'm an expert, which I'm not. So, we'll get there.
We're on our third one. Okay, our fourth one would be peas or beans. For us, we love legumes. There's 2 benefits to that too. So of course we smash some beans and peas around here. We love them. Aiden loves peas. We love peas. The girls may love beans more. So for us, not only are you adding legume, you're adding nitrogen back to your soil. It's a great swap crop for the year. It's also something we can grow in spring and fall. So it's a biannual for us in this long growing season. So peas and beans are very good for us. It's one dimensional, of course, because you cook them the way you cook them, but they just go a long ways. I mean, to me, I can't stand picking lima beans, but at the same time, we missed them last year because we didn't grow them.
We didn't.
So this year we're growing them, and I'll gripe about them all year long about picking them because I hate picking them. But like pink eye purple hull, Mississippi top pick.
2 years ago, well, he says that, and all jokes aside, he says that, but we had probably 50 gallons.
Oh gosh, yeah.
We had we would go out with 5-gallon buckets, and we would come back with bucket after bucket after bucket after bucket. So he says that, but in the sense of we had so many last year, I didn't ever feel like we were going to get on top of getting them all shelled, all washed, all put up.
And we did.
And it's a job. I mean, it's a job. So, so you did number 4.
4, and then the 5th one for us is something that we're growing a lot more of this year. I'd say garlic. Garlic, not just for the seasoning part of it, not just because we like garlic and sauteing with peppers and onions, but we were playing with that with onions and playing with that with peppers. But for us, garlic is so 2 or 3 dimensional for us because you can use it for tinctures. It's a superfood for us. We try to really, as Misty said, we try to have
beneficial medicinal properties.
Yeah, so for us, we try to eat something raw. We try to eat something fermented, and we try to eat something lightly cooked in every meal, or at least for the majority part of that day. Well, the garlic can add so many features to that and some facets to it. So again, that would be our 5 to round up our 5. Now your 5 could be completely, totally different, but for us, that's kind of I'd say that's our 5.
Yep. Now you have a lot of questions to go back and answer. I saw somebody asking about a pickling egg.
Okay. We do not can a lot. And the reason, again, I know a
Freedom
lot.
Homestead is on here, and she is like an expert.
Freedom Homestead cans a lot. I tell you another one. We watch Sutton Days cans a lot. Pratt Family Homestead, Mike Pratt. We know Mike well. He actually bought. When we bought him, we bought a canner. last year, and they were like, we're not going to can. We're going to freeze. And then we sold it to Mike. So he has it now. But they can a lot. If you have canning questions, Freedom Homestead, Tangy and Jack, and then, of course, Mike, Sutton Days, all those would be definitely better suited for
Lazy
any of
C
those.
Homestead, don't give up. I saw where you said that your dad was a rock star in the garden. Don't give up. I mean, we've learned through trial and error over our many, many years of gardening, and some things do very well for us, some things do not. But it has taken trial and error, lots of research, playing with things, learning what is best for our soil, where we're at, our area, and our climate. So don't give up. Just keep on keeping on. So scroll on
Gail's
down
Gardens.
somewhere.
It is very acidic. We have, I say can, we have hot water bath tomatoes, but we froze them.
Yeah,
So
I did do.
we've never actually pressure canned any of that.
I hot water bath spaghetti sauce
Right.
last year and the year before, but canning in the pressure canner is kind of where I had to just draw the line. I do like pickles
Do
and
you do? Do you do?
pickles and some things like
Fruit
that
stuff.
that I can hot water bath. But pressure canner, I feel like is a little bit different level, and I just don't have the time to be able to focus the attention on that right now because I've had babies for so many years.
Fancy Farmer, we do freeze even whole tomatoes until we get to the point of saucing them. We do freeze them. We have to go through bags of gallons of tomatoes to get rid of them, not get rid of, to use them before we start actually getting harvest this year.
Do you freeze them all whole? Yes.
Yes, all whole.
And make them like sauce and freeze them. So I can take the tomatoes. I don't even rinse them off or anything. Put them in. I mean, unless
Hey, Two Family,
they're
what's
really
up?
really dirty, just put them in the freezer. And then like I pulled some out this winter and dropped them down in the. I had a big huge pot of boiling water. Dropped them down in there. Pulled them out after it was less than 5 minutes.
Hey, Sean.
Pulled those out, dropped them down in some ice cold water, and the skin comes right off. I would get some of they basically just mush. And I would just take them and just kind of mush them. I made salsa out of that. And I made several cans of salsa and just we ate on it, and then I put the rest in the freezer, and it is really good.
Hey, getting started on homestead, and we're trying to catch up. I'm sorry. We're so far behind.
We just want to cover those 5 things as far as vegetable goes and what we feel like was on our homestead. So we wanted to talk about that some.
Yeah, what's so funny though is like Misty said, there's things that we do really well at, and there's things that we struggle with. Like brassicas for us, we eat a lot of broccoli. We eat a ton of broccoli. All our kids ate that like it. Everybody else likes it, but to be honest with you, it's hard for us to grow broccoli because we don't have a real cold season. So we've got to get it in there, quickly grow it, and try to get it. Like this year, we did one set, and we got a lot of flowering broccoli or a lot of stem broccoli, but not a lot of floret broccoli or head broccoli. So,
and what we did with those is just we would just add them into salad mixes and stuff.
Now we have a whole set of Hulse Tools heat tolerant broccoli. I think it's Green Magic maybe. It's done better, and the vegetation is absolutely gorgeous.
It's beautiful.
But we've got to get some heads on it, or we're going to lose it because it's getting so hot. So. Yeah, right. We do grow broccoli microgreens. Actually,
those are really good.
Our favorite. Yeah.
Okay, Fancy Farmer said, "What made y'all want a homestead? Did you grow up this way?" Neither one of us grew up this way.
Right. Well, I grew up where we had gardens around our home, and it was just no big deal. They'd use Miracle Grow, or they would use Triple 13 or whatever it may be. So it was just a typical. Well, we grow a little bit, and then we eat it, and then we go to town and eat something else too. Hey, Walker Family Farm, or Farm Family, excuse me. Misty, I don't know if you grew up around.
My parents did a little gardening when I was younger, but as we got older, we just didn't. We didn't do very much gardening at all. We didn't have any homestead animals. Well, I wouldn't say we were city slickers, but neither one of us were like. Right. I mean, we lived in the country, but we didn't do like homesteading things. But what made us want to do this? I feel like it was just a calling.
We got married in 06, and when we got married, we lived in a little house in town, and we had this little garden that wasn't big enough to probably grow enough to eat one meal, but it was just something we liked, and we grew some cucumbers, tomatoes, and things like that. And I think it's just progressed over years. We moved to another house that was a little bit deeper in the country, and I had a nicer sized garden.
Chickens.
And we got chickens there. So we've had chickens for about a decade, I'd say now. Actually, Yeah, it's probably been about 10 years since we had chickens there.
Aiden was little.
Yeah, and so it just kind of progressed from there. When we got to where we're at now, our main goal was when we built our house, we took raw land and built our home. We've done a lot of work, and how long have we been here? 5 years?
This
4 years?
summer will be
5 years?
6.
6. Dang. God.
Because I was pregnant.
So from then, we've pretty much just kept adding to our homestead, and now we're like, our homestead has grown tremendously.
It really has.
We really have
but
just
you
about
know,
everything.
I think our heart is in it.
We love
We love what we do, and we do it for our health. We do it because we know it's best for us, and you know, we do enjoy it, even though there are times where, like, we were trying to move George the other day, and I think that we were both about to have a heart attack.
It made me want to eat a pork chop so bad.
We were trying to move. Okay, so we mentioned to y'all last week. So here's an update, because I meant to say this earlier. You know, we mentioned last week that we were going to take our American Guinea Hog boar and we were going to breed our 2 Yorkshire females with him for 2 more sets of piglets. And we so we went ahead and did that. And that is the most he has ever walked in his entire life.
When he got there, he was like, he just laid down. He didn't care. He didn't care about the girls.
It was hilarious.
Most time when you put a boar or any male animal, they want something.
But they're so different because our American Guinea Hogs are so slow moving, easy going. They'll get up and forage for a little bit, and then they're laid out. Our Yorkshires, are those feeder pigs. They don't stop moving. They till, eat, go, and they don't stop. So we had 2 different pens set up. We had all the kids out there. We were trying to get the 3 boys in 1 pen, and we couldn't turn it on until we got the 2 girls and George in the pen with the girls. Well, because the 3 boys and the 2 girls have never been separated, they were tearing down the fence to get to each other. We couldn't turn it on because we were still in there. It was like crazy. And then trying to get him to go in, because he walked from the back side of our property where he is with Peppa and the babies all the way to the front side, and we led him with a bucket.
Well, let's preface this too. Every animal, we moved every animal on our farm. Every animal, other than we did not move our American Guinea Hog, because their purpose was to breed and to have babies. So we kind of kept them together because at the time we were new to pigs. So we were like, okay, we're moving all our animals, our sheep, our cows, every animal moves, but that was the only ones we were not moving.
Right.
And so, like Misty said, when we had to take this pig, this 300-pound pig who is not used to moving,
he's a little bigger than that.
He moved okay the first time. The second time, he was like, I'm not going.
And I think he felt Colby's frustration.
Oh my gosh! If I had a bigger stick, I probably would have hit him harder. And it probably would hurt me or him.
Colby was he would not move. I had a bucket of cow's milk, y'all. They will knock you down for cow's milk. So, but he was not going. And Colby was standing behind him with the guiding stick. And I kept telling Colby, just tap him on his end so that he'll go. Like, we
tapping became more than tapping.
We have to do our cows like that. When we come behind our cows, we just kind of have to tap them to get them to know, okay, it's time to go. So I was thinking, use the stick and let's train him. You can tap him on his rear, use the guiding stick to help him go where he needs to go. But he was not going. I think he felt Colby's frustration. So finally, Colby just stepped away. And he slowly walked towards where we wanted him to go. And I just kind of slowly walked with him. But he did finally go in. But it took
most of our animals.
Minutes.
Yeah, now most of our animals move in less than 5 minutes. I mean, it's like nothing. But he just wasn't having it, and I wasn't having it. It's been a long day, and it was either me or him fisting to go in this mud. We were finna tussle.
Yeah, and it had just flooded from Sunday storms. And of course, when you're going into a pig pen that they have dug it all up, on top of flooding, it's mud slop.
Fancy Farmer, we're 30, 32? We're 32.
I'm 33.
32 and 33. We feel like we're like 82 because we start milking at 4. I milk at 4. Misty does school with 5 kids every day. And
Well, 4 and the baby.
when we came in last night at 7:30 to eat supper from moving lambs. Was it lambs last night or the night before? Lambs last night.
Well, we
sheep,
moved the
excuse me.
sheep. I mean, we moved pigs. Then we went over and moved the sheep.
Hey, Clear Creek, how are you?
And I want to throw this in there. I know most of you guys are all familiar with each other, but if you're not, there are so many great channels on here. Y'all be sure to click on.
I know, we're trying to keep up with questions. I'm sorry, guys.
Click on the links and y'all go to each other's channel and check each other out. I mean, there's people from Florida to Pennsylvania to
Canada, Alaska.
Canada, yes. I mean, so it's really cool that there are so many people that come together that have so many things in common, and then you might could learn from each other. There's tons of great channels in here, so y'all be sure to check each other out.
Yes, we do train our animals with calls. So we call our cows 2 different ways. Our dairy cows, we use a command. They know that command. They come to it.
Most of the time.
Most of the time, unless it's the calves. We have a beef herd that we use a different call to. So we have a different farm, different call for them. When it comes to our pigs, our sheep, everybody has a command. So they learn this command. They learn the sounds of buckets. The American guinea hog, not so much.
They mostly only have to see the feed bucket.
That's right. So, but we call them with commands. Little Mountain Life. I saw that question. I'm sorry I didn't answer it while ago. We use this. Don't do that, baby. We use the webcam feature and streaming feature on YouTube Studio.
On a laptop.
We thought about going to another form of live streaming and then importing it in. What I've seen with a lot of shows that do that, they can add more features to it, but sometimes it makes it hard to upload it.
Two families on here.
Yeah, two families like
the experts.
Yeah, they're tech people. They know this, but we use just the standard YouTube Studio. It seems to work good for us. We've never had a problem other than we've had internet bad connection, things like that. But it uploads easier for us. I know when I've been on a few with Zoom and things like that, they can't hardly see the comments or can't comment in or the upload's slow. So that we use this. There's probably not a right or wrong answer, but two family may know more than that. And some of you bigger shows who are used to doing more lives than us, you may have a different way. So
if
please
Two
chime
Family
in.
is still on here, they would be your go-to people to ask.
Serena Hill, I agree. I think the homeschool community is definitely better. So
have to agree there.
Yeah, if you're doing a bare bones live stream, I would just do YouTube. I mean, it just makes sense. North Star Preps there you go. So she uses it too, and her and Mimsy are like pros at YouTube.
Moderator pros.
Yeah, Two Family there they are too. So they'll be able to answer those questions probably a little bit better than us.
Yeah.
Let's see. I was trying to hit those. Let's see. Yeah, so like our pigs and our sheep.
They say chicken nugget to call their meat birds.
Now, what's so funny is our meat birds. It's funny how we say this. Even though everything has a perfect reason for being on our farm, our meat birds and our pigs and our chickens we don't name. Our meat pig, excuse me, we do name our American guinea hog. So those we use simple calls. On the other ones, we try to have names and we try to associate those names with them because ultimately they have a purpose.
Their babies all look so much alike. I can only spot out the runt and the big boy.
Yeah, on the American guinea hogs,
look so much alike.
For us to tell the American guinea hog babies apart, if we were keeping them, we'd have to tag
them. There's only two that I can. There's a real big boy. Yeah. I mean, he is like a big boy, and then of course the runt. The runt is the one that slipped through the gate when the vet come. And y'all, let me tell you, when they turned those babies upside down and went to cut, and I went, "Oh my Lord, have mercy! I need to get on up out of here." And the vet was standing there, and I said, "Does that hurt them?" And he said, "Well, it doesn't feel good." And I said, "That looks like that hurts really bad." And he said, "You're making me a little nervous."
Yeah, our vet was saying, "Okay, I'm usually not nervous at all doing this, but you standing there kind of make me nervous. So will you please step back?"
I'm a nurse by profession, of course, for people.
That was funny.
But y'all, if y'all have never seen that, let me just tell you, I was not prepared for that. Colby might have been. I don't know what I was expecting. I think I was expecting for him to just it be performed kind of like a human's one is performed, a vasectomy, similar to that. So when he went in there and went to pulling stuff out, I was like, "Oh my gracious,
That's
I was
funny.
so thrown off. I was not prepared for that, y'all.
That's funny, Sean. That's funny. There's a lot of new people getting into a lot of homesteading things. So I think it's cool. I think the communities are fun. Facebook, I laugh. I told her we're part of a lot of groups, and you see so many people ask questions that nothing is a bad question. I mean, because everything is so new to everybody on people that's just starting. So, man, ask those questions on anything. I think it's great to learn. And
we're not experts, but we'll tell you
hey, we learn.
what we have learned.
We learn stuff every day.
Yeah, like that was definitely a new experience for me when I went in there and he went to cutting on those pigs. I thought,
no,
I don't think I want to watch this.
It was a castration cover. I think Copperhead asked that.
Yes, it was. They went to pulling stuff out, and I went to thinking.
We did keep one that he was a lucky guy, so he didn't. He
Yeah,
had to worry about it.
he escaped the night of his scheduled surgery. Is it a surgery?
No.
It kind of is a surgery, but without anesthesia or
Lazy C, you're right.
numbing medicine. I was not.
We were the only thing I wish we were trying to band our calves, but it just didn't work that way. So we had to do cutting, and that was a little something I didn't want.
He really suggested that.
True, Copperhead.
Basically, as soon as they're born, if you know that you're going to band them, like you want to do that right then. You don't want to wait. So even though Kristoff, which is our youngest bull calf, he was born the end of January.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, he is still pretty small, but he still
How about you, Hank? How are you, man?
He still said he's too big. So he really suggested you want to ban like almost like as soon as they come out. So we were thinking that he was still small enough, but he said that we could have more issues from doing that as big as he is. So
we had our two, if y'all remember, of course, we had two babies, Lily and what's the M? Do you even know? Macy. I could not get that out. I was trying to get.
We're not with
Mamie and all that. But anyways, our beef herd. Luckily, we don't have a catch pen up there. So one thing we were worried about was, okay, if we have a bull calf up there, if I don't get to it right then, there is no way we're going to catch these calves because
they're in a
very unique primitive area. We're going to do some cross fence and stuff like that. But right now they're just going. So luckily they were both heifers. So the bull calves are here, and that's the ones that we're raising here, of course, on grass fed, just to try to make sure we can watch them and make sure we go ahead and take care of that. So that worked out okay. Shoko business.
Look, everybody kind of learns as they go because everybody is in different climates. Everybody does things differently. Like Anna from Minzy's Garden may do something differently that we do because it works better for her than it does for us, even though we're in the same region. So everybody kind of learns as they go. We want to help people as much as we can. And you may try our way and not like it, and that's okay. You've weeded out what you like and what you don't like. Everybody, I feel like, learns as they go, and that's okay.
Art of creation, to find out who we're going to challenge. I don't know who we're going to challenge, but see, what's so cool to us is we've gardened. And
Miss Kathy, they can do one. That would be good.
We garden several different ways. We have raised beds that are lasagna method, square foot method, and hugelkultur method. And then we have our big, huge garden. We've done tart method. We've done permaculture chickens and pigs. And then, of course, we've even done the hay with the replacing nitrogen and things like that with cover crop. That didn't work well here because we have very humid soil, and pretty much that part of the garden, it just grassed over until we started doing that. So we choose not to do cover crop. If you're like us, where you do a lot of
Little Pea Farm.
When you're trying your hardest to not till, the cover crop's not for you. So don't use cover crop if you're a no-till garden. And for us, we're no-till, so it just did not work. So it's kind of cool that we have 5 or 6 different ways that we garden. And so we have pluses and minuses for our area because we're a humid area. Just like us.
Your hair looks good.
Thank you, Hank. So for us, like for instance, the Garden of Eden method doesn't work good here because our humidity, sometimes it molds the soil. So we have to be careful, even with our lasagna method, to make sure we're doing it right, and our hugelkultur method. So
Miss Kathy said, I can't remember if you have goats. We don't, or not, but there is a cream you can apply to the kids' first or second months that remove the horns, so you don't have to burn them.
Yes, we don't.
We have sheep.
Yeah,
we
we
have
do
4
sheep.
sheep. And Colby's goal is to put them in the freezer.
Yeah. Well, not all of them.
Not all of them. We'll have our baby makers, of course. We
Yeah.
have a certain ones designated out to where they will just have babies. But the weather that we have will go first. And then, of course, Minnie and Daisy will both have babies probably late this winter. And it's very, very common for them to have twins, much like goats do. So they will replace next year's killing.
Serenity Hill, I agree. We did try root stout with our potatoes this year. We have to watch mold. One thing we found was in our area, because again we're so humid,
hot and humid.
we have to be careful with root stout traditions. It's almost like Garden of Eden. I mean, excuse me, yeah, Garden of Eden for us. It just tends, or back to Eden. Sorry, Garden of Eden.
She said
back to Eden. It tends to mold more than it actually composts. So we have to really watch those two methods here. Personally, hugelculture's done well for us. Hugelculture, I wouldn't say plant all our root vegetables in because of the wood and because of, again, to me, the mold and mildew issue. So for us, it just doesn't work. But for like tomatoes, our tomatoes were 10 foot tall last year in the hugelculture bed. So they make a huge difference in that. And we did really almost like a ground garden in these last 2 beds because we just didn't have time to age them.
Well, I was super excited yesterday. I've really been on Colby about adding manure to my compost because we have loads of manure everywhere.
Fire ants. We have tons of fire ants. And that's another thing we have to watch with tarps and actually tomatoes yesterday.
Tons. Yeah, well, and even in my raised beds the other day, I went out to beside all of my deal.
Yeah,
there was a huge ant bed, and I don't know if this is like the most proper way.
Dig them out.
I did dig them out, and I put them in a bucket and all of their eggs, and then I dumped them in the chicken pen and let the chickens eat them.
Yeah, so we don't spray.
And the wax moth too. We checked our bees.
Oh yeah, we have video coming out on that, so we won't talk too much about that one.
But I gave them chickens some good protein.
Yeah, we had a hive that didn't do well, so it went to the chickens too.
Yep. Happy chickens, that's right.
Our chickens and our pigs, I don't think there's no food that we throw away anyway on the farm. If we don't eat it, it goes to the chickens and pigs.
I was gonna say, when you went out and scooped up the hay, you went out and got, we put a lot of the hay on the ground for our cows to eat. And
Thanks,
there was a pile that did not get eaten, and it was full of manure and water and all that stuff. So we took all that and we put it in our compost, and I was like,
the only thing different, remember, if you're putting this is Bahia hay, so for us, we have to make sure it gets hot enough in the compost to kill the seeds, because the last thing you want is grass seed growing in your compost. Yep. So straw hay does better for us, and that's what's actually in the chicken. So once they break it down, we'll be able to put it in there, and we'll have no seed issues there with that.
So super excited that it doubled my size of the compost. And we really, really use that compost. So, I mean, I feel like it can't keep up with our demand of planting. No. So to add that all in there and double the size made me really excited.
So that's why we use silage tarps and no-till in the big garden, because we cannot provide enough compost for our 10,000 square foot garden.
Yeah.
So for the ground garden, if we learn to do like we're doing with the silage tarps and do no-till, add bark, add compost, add the permaculture chickens and pigs in there when we need to, it helps grow that, and then the compost helps us build up just our raised beds.
That's amazing, Larry. He was able to buy 13 dump truck loads of 25-year-old sawdust that had been composted. That is awesome.
Yeah, you can't beat that.
We have been.
If you've ever gone to Polyface chips are on wood, but they have a barn that's bigger than our house
for wood chips.
Just wood chips, and sometimes it doesn't smell the best because sometimes they'll compost a whole pig or whole chicken guts or everything, and his operation's huge. So to see that operation on a bigger scale like that is really cool.
Yep. So I think it's really cool to be able to take our pigs and put out there and let them just till it. And then they poop all over it and fertilize it. We've done our chickens. We put our chickens out there. Like once we were done with our turnip greens, mustard greens, we put them out there. We let them pick around on it, eat the bugs, eat as much green as they want, scratch the dirt up, move them. Then we put the pigs on it. I mean, it's just, I have really, really enjoyed seeing them naturally tilled, naturally fertilized. You put the tarp on it, so it keeps the ground. I mean, I was blown away. Were you blown away when we pulled that back this summer and that soil was so moist?
Quality.
It was amazing quality soil. And then it helps with of course, with the weed suppression because there's not been any light. Um, and of course, your grasses have to have light to grow. So I just think the whole process is amazing. I think we finally reached where we feel like we're doing what's best for us, our ground, our vegetables, and our climate.
We're supposed to get off here because we've been for an hour. But even like right now, our chickens, we move our animals around. Our pigs are working in our forest to clear out the forest. So not only they doing what they're supposed to do, of course, making babies and eating food and becoming the next pork chop on our plate, but they're also tilling our ground.
Yep.
Our permaculture chickens, if you know, we have several sets of chickens. Our first set is, of course, our layers. They're our older chickens. And then we have our meat birds. And then we have a third set, which is our permaculture chickens. They've worked in our orchard. They've worked in our gardens. Now they're actually working on a new project with our food forest.
Yep.
So they're
excited about
they're right
that.
there working in the food forest.
Yep.
So it's amazing how you can use your animals for so much more than a pet, or you can use your animals so much more than just to feed you an egg here and there or to feed them. So I challenge you, try to find ways to use your animals for more than just eating or just for more than you eating them. So and we try to, we really do. So our lambs and sheep are booming in the area they're in. Actually, so much grass, I don't know if they can keep up. But what they're doing is they'll eat everything a cow wants. So it helps us kind of get rid of some of the junk, like the balm of Gilead weeds or the big hedge weed. Don't know what they're even called, or dill weed. Man, they'll smoke that stuff. So, and they'll eat all the older grass that the cow won't eat. So it's really cool. It's really cool. Guys, thank y'all so much for coming on. We talked a little bit about everything, starting with animals, ending with animals. So,
and if y'all saw somebody on here that we were able to connect with, thank you to our moderators that were on here. I don't think we're cool enough for trolls, but we do appreciate all of y'all being on here and just making sure this stays a healthy chat. And if you see somebody that you were able to talk with and connect with, y'all be sure to check out their channels. I have been watching a lot of you guys, and I just think it's awesome to be able to learn y'all and get to know y'all more. And, this is how we meet and get to know everybody. So I just think it's awesome. Y'all be sure to check those channels out. They're on here tonight.
Thank y'all so much for coming on, and we hope that you have a great rest of the week. We are fixing to get some storms, so I hope our storms are a little bit lighter and we can just enjoy the rain. So, God bless.
Happy homesteading, y'all.
Happy homesteading, y'all.
Una time.